8,
You're watching
7,
Experience Comic Culture and
6,
Sales.
5,
Streaming live daily to
4,
Facebook, YouTube,
3,
Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hello, everybody. It's time for Minute to Skim It. Kyle looked frozen.
No, I'm sending a very, very angry email to YouTube and Google.
Oh my.
So, yeah, no, I'm a level of angry that I don't think any of you really want to see me. So if I start to turn green and my clothes start to tear, just know I'll cover the naughty bits if it happens.
You're not going to go straight to Red Hulk?
No, because I've only been exposed to X-ray radiation, so I don't have any.
No red gamma?
No.
Okay. Everybody, there's some really cool books out this week, some of which you guys have been waiting for a while, I think.
Probably.
One hopes. If you're paying attention to comic books at all. Oh my God, Jay!
Huh. Well, let's see.
Jay's thinking to himself, I didn't scramble them again this week.
Oh, he did. I gave him the algorithm this week.
Hey!
Let's see how good I did it this time, though.
Okay.
Let's see if I can follow directions. Here we go.
Hey! This is Antarctica number 3 by my good friend Simon Burks. All you need to know about it is that the main character, her father disappeared when she was young. They keep showing bits of that in flashback about how and when that happened. And she made her way through life, first of all, just kind of like being kind of unmoored and doing poorly. But eventually gets herself together and works her way to Antarctica, which is where he disappeared from. And in the first issue, at the very end, you find out that there is another base on Antarctica that appears to have duplicates of everyone on the base that she's part of. And they've been unraveling this mystery. Last issue was kind of them trying to figure out what to do about it. And this issue, they have completely tried to infiltrate the other person's base and we're kind of like, I don't know about replace, but kind of like figure out what's going on by, taking the place temporarily of the person that they looked exactly like. So it is, still don't know how the other base happened, what's going on, but I love sci-fi like this. It's so cool. Hey, Dorth. Hi, ADB.
I love barbaric. I love everything barbaric adjacent. This is no exception. I'm still waiting for more Owen and Axe stories. But Deadheart and her talking sword, I'll take it. Deadheart is a monster. She's a beast. Love that character. So this one is kind of Dreadheart and Ka are trying to find their, I guess it would be a mage, somebody with magic. Named Sarah. And if that's confusing to you, that just tells me that you need to read this. If you're into smart aleck weapons, awesome battles, gore, violence, magic, barbarians, do I have to keep talking about that? You need to go to your LCS right now and pick up anything barbaric. Anything. Now, that being said, I know this won't hit with everybody, but I think there's quite a few of you, if you have not tried this yet, I think you're going to love it. And if I'm wrong, come back and tell me that I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I think most of you will enjoy this. This series is awesome. Check this one out.
I think there's a reason why Barbaric and it's this first offshoot have only started to, they only really like gain readership. You know, things come out and then make people wander away from it. I think we keep adding people that want to read this stuff. So
Yes.
ooh, Captain America. This is really awesome storytelling. I'm just gonna give mad props. This basically takes Captain America from kind of like where he is now. It looks like the building that he's lived in since, I don't know, maybe birth. He finds out is in bad enough disrepair that the current owner has decided to just let it be reclaimed to go to like be torn down. And he doesn't really want that to happen. So what's cool about this story is not only do you have Cap trying to deal with that part of his life, he has flashbacks to when he was a boy living in that same building, and you get to see what happens, you know, like when his mother dies, you know, he doesn't obviously get to just stay there rent free. So what happens to him during that period of his life from 14 to 18, which I don't think we've really known about. We just knew that it was a bad time for him and he only had his friends. It talks a lot about that. Those two parts of the storyline are the really awesome stuff, but they still have him go off and do real special, you know, superhero stuff kind of interspersed, but it's kind of in the background. It's not the important part of this story. You have to learn more about him, the man, and why he is the way that he is and his kind spirit. So I love it. Good stuff.
Do you guys remember Hades from the Hercules animated movie? Do you guys remember the Animaniacs?
Of course.
If you mash them together, that's this book.
Ooh.
But in the same way, like Hades in this book is Wile E. Coyote. He's so earnest in trying to get what he wants that he fails at it just because he tries too hard. Like he's itchy or he's scratchy to everyone else's itchy. Like it's this whole idea of he can't win because he just overthinks and overcommits and overprepares and then screws it all up, and it's hysterical. Now, in this particular issue, we start to see some more of the magic users in the magic, I guess magic, god magic that exists in this universe, right? And that is a fun experience to have in comic book form, because you can over the panels see how these abominations and these weird magic spells and stuff come to be, which is super entertaining. So I'm really liking this one. This one, it isn't what's the word I'm looking for? It isn't exactly Darkwing Duck level,
Yeah.
but I think it outperforms a lot things like their Maleficent and their Scar stories. So I really like this one.
Ship, is there any version of Kyle that's not backwards hat Kyle?
Yes, Ship always hates when I do this.
Oh, see, that's not Kyle. I don't know who that guy is.
I'll give you a hint, Ship. If you tune into my hats like this, it's because I have a headache. And I'm trying to protect myself from the lights. Like I got to be light enough to see, because if I turn the lights off, you can't really see me. But I got to be, I want to protect myself from the lights. So
yeah. So my notes got caught on the Spider-Gwen my nephew got me, and dropped on the keyboard. So sorry about that.
That is the most Spider-Gwen thing I've ever heard.
All right.
Hi, Canadian. Ah, this was really good. Okay, so this continues in the DC books that I thought I would never like DC, although Stewart's my favorite of the Lanterns, so I knew I'd probably like this. But it's weird. The first part of this book, first half maybe, isn't about him in any way. It actually deals in like astronauts in space catastrophe in which like some giant light anomaly happens and results in I think it's a space station getting destroyed. And it's such a good kind of origin story. So I'm 100% certain this is an origin of somebody that has only has even ties to him. But then the middle and forward part of the story has some other Green Lanterns show up and confront John, who is just trying to like fix the pipes in his grandma's house. And is basically saying that you have an unauthorized ring. We can sense the ring. Where's the ring? And of course, John's like, I don't have a ring. I don't need a ring anymore. And it's like you can really kind of feel from this, even if you didn't know anything about this character, you understand how powerful that is. If he doesn't need a ring to do lantern level things, it's nuts. So I recommend this if you either don't know anything about lanterns at all, and you wanted to like, I feel like I just need a place to jump in. Here you go. Or if you've never known anything about John Stewart, you get a real insight into his personality and what he'll fight for. This is really great stuff. Ooh, cover.
Immortal Red Sonja Volume 1. This is another one of those. I'm pretty sure that we read this one. I don't remember reading the first couple of issues, but as I scanned it, I was like, yes, I remember this one. This is basically Red Sonja with legally not Arthurian legend. And this is the one you can see from the cover where she's got the full chainmail shirt. I don't have a whole lot to say on this one other than, if you're a Sonja fan that wants like basically high fantasy squared, with Sonja kicking butt and taking names while meeting characters like Lancelot, not Lancelot, but Lancelot, who served the Pain Dragons. On a quest to find Merlin, because I guess they couldn't figure out another name for Merlin. It's just Merlin. All while arguing with this enchanted smart alecky chainmail. There's a lot of smart alecky inanimate objects in some of the books that I've read this week. This one is definitely. Well, I could never figure out if it talks out loud or if it's like a telepathic thing where it talks in her mind.
Sure.
But it's definitely smart alecky and doesn't really have her best interest in mind. But if you're a fan of Sonja, this happens to be one of my favorite ones that I've read. So it's really good. You should go pick this one up.
And you're right, Ryan. That cover is fire.
Yes.
Oh, this one was so trippy. I don't really know how to explain this 100%. Okay, so it jumps back and forth between two point of view stories about there is a bridge between, I don't know, we're going to call them parallel universes. One of them looks like a normal kind of place, like you and I in this. The other part of it looks very much like this cover, which is like everything, like houses and everything look like they're just all of their component parts, but just spread apart. Like you just needed to like some assembly required. I don't know. It looks really trippy. And it looks like it's following two people that have gone over to go kind of do, I don't know, I'm going to call them architectural studies or whatever, but get lost. Like they don't know where they went once they went over. So this is them trying to find them. But everything that I'm describing to you is the only normal part I can actually explain about it. Everything is so trippy about it. These are, like who am I in this story? Like how you're supposed to identify with something. I don't know, but I'm sure that it'll get around to like what's the real point? Like, what's at stake? I guess is the thing that I want to find out. What's at stake here? Is it that one of the universes will affect the other one? I don't know. It's really neat though. The art is all really cool like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to try not to read this one. I'll tell you, there was something else I wanted to read, but we didn't. We didn't get it. So here's the deal with this one. For the first time in my reading of Killer Queens, I'm a little bit bummed.
Oh.
Only because coming out of the first volume, or first issue, I felt like we were setting up for something great in this issue. And we don't exactly get it. This is not a bad issue, but it's like they're stalling a little for the thing that they're building towards to happen in the next issue, and I wanted it to happen in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes with these, especially with miniseries like this is a 4-part story. It really needs to only be 3 parts, right? Like, just keep the pace. And they don't always. And that's what I think happened here. By no fault of David Boer's, by no fault of Bradley Clayton's, because that's all fantastic. And by no fault of Dark Horse. They've just decided that this story needed to be 4 issues when it probably should have been 3. So, incredible book if you're into Killer Queens and you've been enjoying Killer Queens, but it doesn't... what's the word for? It doesn't Killer Queens the same as other books have Killer Queens. I hope you all can understand that logic.
Says it all. Putting the sass in assassin.
It's true.
And he does have pretty good butt there. I mean, like he and Nightwing needed to look, kind of like line it up.
It's true.
Okay. Someone was actually mentioning this, that they were looking forward to this Jack Kirby's Star Warriors book. I will tell you, first of all, that it is delightfully of the era. Whatever was changed very slightly by Scioli. I don't know how to say his last name. Tom Scioli. Is that right? Is tiny. I'm imagining. I'm sure it's just like moving the words around to where they made sense on the page for layout this way. The other cool things is, man, they surprise us with a 2-page another story, like not from Star Warriors, but from something else. So you're in for some great treats. So this is the same kind of mood and feel, like if you like John Carter, Warlord of Mars, or early Flash Gordon, or any of those. Just really very much like, there's space pirates that he's trying to hunt down, and they're hiding out on Mars and Venus. Sometimes they need, helmets, and sometimes they don't, which doesn't make any sense, but it's just, it's so cute. I mean, it's all weirdly in this kind of like real muted tones where it's all, the line art is almost looks like it's done in that dark purple, but like almost like in smudge. Like it's I don't want to say it's like crayon, because it's like Sassin Kirby's awesomeness, but it's just like wide line art. Yeah, it's pulp, sci-fi pulp all the way. So good. Yeah, it's if you're a Kirby fan, it's not like his other very, like I call very angular work that you see when he's like doing his what I call kaiju stuff. This is more soft, muted goodness.
This book continues to remind me that Lim the Bard and Harsh the dwarf are my favorite characters. I love when they put these two together. Um, so for those that might know, because I didn't know, apparently this is based off an RPG. Um, but if you're like me and you never really got into Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs and things like that, you can very much still enjoy this book. It's adventure, it's fantasy. I mean, slight spoiler: at one point they fight a zombie triceratops, and like if that doesn't hook you or at least pique your interest, I don't know what else to tell you about the book. I don't. Um, but the other cool thing is at the end of it, they have, and I don't know what they're called because I know nothing of this world, but they feel like they're character cards or something, and they pick two of the
They're
characters.
player sheets.
There you go, player sheets. Okay.
See, it says at the top, exclusive Pathfinder RPG character options included.
Ah.
If you want to play as the characters from these books, and this has been in all three so far, they have character sheets in the back for you if you want to play in this universe.
Yeah. But like I said, even if you're not an RPG, there we go, person like me, I still really like this book. So this is one of those is put that aside if you're not an RPG person and pick it up and give it a shot, because like I said, I probably wouldn't have picked this up on my own, but since we read this for the shows, I've highly enjoyed it. It's really good.
Very cool.
Hey,
Okay,
Kenneth.
this is one I'm very excited about.
Junior Baker, the Righteous Faker, is not anything that I expected from the title. I will tell you that right now. The art, by the way, is everything like the cover. So the entire book is just like this, where it's super artsy and trippy. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So it's basically about Mr. Baker here that's on the front cover. He is actually a news reporter, but he's been known for his kind of like sensationalist conspiracy theory kind of reporting. And he's currently kind of he really has a desire to hunt down this supposed religious group, kind of like, I don't know, super culty group. And while he's trying to like make his way into researching them, he keeps on getting called in by his boss to actually go and do stories that he always pitches them as being, it's kind of related, but they're not really. But they're also pretty trippy. I think that the point of it is going to be they're all kind of tied together at some point. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Maybe this is for people that like conspiracy theory or culty stuff, or I don't. It's really good. I just don't know what genre to necessarily call it. But
I'll tell you what genre it is, Jen.
it's like,
It's Joe Casey.
is Joe Casey doing Joe Casey? Yeah.
So it doesn't really genre. It Joe Casey's. It's like saying Matt Fraction. It Matt Fractions. It doesn't really go into a genre, right?
Yeah.
I just want to throw this out there, guys. The artist on that book, on Junior Baker, is what's his name? Ryan Quackenbush, which I've never known for sure if that's his real name or not, or if that's just like a nom de art. But he did the first series of Winchester Mystery House. And he worked on that, and he worked on Winchester Mystery House, and the horror double feature from Source Point Press from 2020 that were so good. So I'm very excited for this artist to be getting a bigger swing. And I can't remember the last time Joe Casey put out a comic book. Like, I know he worked on Action, but that hasn't been that recently. Like, so I'm very excited to see Joe Casey coming out of left field again. Okay. Project Reese. This technically came out last week, but we didn't get it till this week, so it's a whole thing. this is the story of a group of adventurers who are inside a cave in not formerly Nazi occupied territory, like 30 years after World War II. And they're trying to find this missing train of Nazi gold. And what they've actually found is the island of Dr. Moreau. If the island of Dr. Moreau was interested in creating Terminators.
Ooh.
In this issue, you find they come to what was called the city of Stone, which is this huge underground city that's carved into this mountain, and they start kind of making their way through this maze that is this mountain, and someone we thought was dead from the very first issue is in fact not, but he's also not entirely alive, and there's a bunch of metal, and there are these things that look like space aliens, but they're made of rock. But are they really made of rock, and are they really dead, or are they just pretend? And you don't know, and so much happens, and you get to the end of the book, and you're just like, no! Because, like, they just leave nothing is at all tied up in this book. It just leaves it entirely open-ended. You feel like at the end of the book, it's going to go, next time on Project Rise, will they escape the Nazis? Will they all be turned into part robot, part people, part alien? Find out on the same bat time, same bat channel. You know, like, it's this whole, like, fantastic. Just because it really doesn't, it really makes you wish you were reading it as a trade, because you just want to keep going at the end of this book, which is the best thing any comic can do, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to hear, but man, it all leads to Terminators. All of it.
Always Terminators.
What I'm discovering, Jay, is that existence leads to Terminators.
Fair.
Okay, so Madam Satan, Heck on Earth, I will tell you 100% that I picked it out because I knew that it was a #1, and I know it's part of the Chilling Adventures series stuff out of Archie, and I may have to like call the ball. I'm thinking maybe this deep dark corner of Chilling Adventures is just too dark for me. It's like I followed them kind of into Sabrina when she was doing her Sabrina cute witch stuff, but the dark witch stuff is just too. I mean, I already have enough drama in my life. I didn't want more drama. So if you want more drama, Satan-y drama, it's chock full of it. The art is delightful. I got halfway through it and I was just like, I want to go read something happier.
So this sounds like a book that I need to start reading, is what you're telling me.
I don't
This
know.
is
Might
the
help
kind
you
of
with your
thing
angst.
that I should take one for the team and read this one.
Yeah. Cool cover though. Got some cool covers.
Fantastic cover.
Mm-hmm. She has a skeleton in her eye. Oh wow! Look at that.
There was a time, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. There was a time where I was like, man, there's too many Red Sonja books. But now I find when there's only 2 on the list, I kind of gravitate towards them.
And one of them was a
right,
trade, right, Jay?
Yeah, the first one, the Immortal Red Sonja, was a trade. This one is just a #3. And from reading this issue, I want to go read the first 2 issues. This one right off the bat just drops you in the middle of this gruesome battle in this village. And all the people in the village look like they're blind, but I couldn't tell if they were or not. And Sonja seems to be fighting for this village against these culty looking people. It's just, it was crazy. It was just crazy because this town really wanted to have Sonja get out there alive. I'll give you that, but how they do it, I was not expecting it. I was not expecting how they help Sonja. This is one of those books that just, like, the story is really tense and it's lightning quick right from the get-go. Like I felt like took a breath and it was over. Like the writing was really good. And to be honest, I've seen a lot of Red Sonja books, and this rendition of Sonja in the book, because it's not what it looks like on the cover, though it's a beautiful cover. The Red Sonja in this book has got to be the best rendition of Red Sonja that I've ever seen. Like, I love how they drew Sonja in this book. So the art in this also is just on point. And Sonja fans, this is one to really, really look out for, because if it can draw me in, me being somebody who isn't the biggest Red Sonja fan, I think y'all are gonna love it. So
Oh, y'all been waiting for this one. Predator versus Wolverine. It is everything I wanted it to be. It like starts right in the thick of action. It doesn't have any kind of like lead in. Long ago, this happened. It is literally them fighting on the first page, which I like. Get to it. That's what we're here for, to see them battle each other. So the first battle sequence for them is so bloody. I mean, they're quite obviously both really good at what they do. Had some practice at what they do. But it's neat. They have this first interaction with them, but then it also jumps back in time to maybe I don't know if it's the first time that Predator ever came to the Earth, but it's the first time they interacted when Wolverine was a young man, which is cool. And then you get to, and then it's very clear from that part of the story that maybe a little bit of this is a personal vendetta now. Because Predator doesn't like to not have a successful hunt. Really makes them angry. So I'll also tell you the art in this is amazing. And there's also, I mean, they went overboard with the amount of covers there were for this book, but I'm not mad at it at all, because each cover by different artists is over the top amazing. It's going to be real tough, y'all, to choose just one or two this week, because I mean, to me, most of them are frameable. Even just what's called the A cover is so stunning. So yeah, I'm not 100% certain how long the series is supposed to be, but it doesn't really matter as long as every single issue's got them just trying to kill each other. There's lots of blood. I'm good.
Can I get chat and my co-host to co-sign on this? When Predator eventually kills Wolverine, Wolverine actually goes away for a while, and we don't have 7 million Wolverine books at any given time. Even if he just goes away for a couple weeks and comes back in one book, it would still be a decrease by 2,000%.
So Eddie, I like that. Looks like a Terminator skull on the Predator's belt. Maybe. Although, would they care about Predators since they're not typical living beings like they like to hunt? I don't think I've ever seen them hunt.
Well,
robotic
when
things.
AI eventually takes over and creates the Terminators, the Predator will have to come to Earth to rein in the Terminator to keep the Terminator from going after the Predator. So as things are progressing in real life, this is coming.
So what do you guys think? And it just your guts. Like, Darth's got a good thing. Or come on, Wolvie bucks him, no contest. Regenerate Predator does. Oh, he regenerates and the Predator doesn't. Wolvie survives Hulk, so this is a cakewalk. Should have been a one shot. Predator can never kill Wolverine.
Disagree. Predator will kill Wolverine, because if nothing else, Predator will just take Wolverine back to his own planet, and we don't know what the atmosphere is like there. So Wolverine can't regenerate if he, I don't know, dies of suffocation.
That is the other thing that's different about. It's the thing that makes a better matchup between Predators and Aliens, because they're group based.
Right. Is this Space Wolverine? Because we did Space Wolverine once.
Yeah.
And everyone hated him. Everyone,
Well,
including yourself.
I will have to say, Miss Jen's right about the covers. I had a hard time choosing the covers. I just went with the cover A because it was easiest, but these covers are amazing. Y'all should really check them out.
Mhm.
All
I'm
right.
super jealous.
Well,
I wanted to
I wish
like
I'd let
some more you.
I wish I would have let you read it. I do not
Artsy
have
for
the
you?
mental capacity. I do not have the mental capacity right now for Rom Ving all over. This book feels like in a big way, a spiritual successor to books like Layla Starr
Mhm.
and These Savage Shores. Just the way the art is presented in this kind of almost like colored pencil coloring style with the millions of lines kind of pencil work, line work. It
Yeah.
really did sort of feel like Rom V's early indie work, which was super cool. But I can't. It
What's it about?
was,
Give us help.
I don't know. It was so much that at some point I had to essentially turn off my ability to retain what I was reading and just consume it, because between the art and the writing, it was just like a sense overload for me.
The art's
And some of
wild.
that, right, some of that comes from being exhausted from the last few days of my life, but some of that comes from Rom V has this way of writing that you can smell the world he builds, right? And you can in this in a big way. I can hear this character on the cover. I can hear his voice, like in my head, like what the voice acting would sound like. And so, like, this is one of those that I'm going to need to reread it again probably tomorrow and then reread it again before number 2 comes out. Because every time I read it, I'll get a little bit more. Like, I honestly, and I don't say that lightly, I had to stop understanding what I was reading in order to be able to continue reading. And I love it for that. Like, this book does everything you want a book this is a horror book, but not like a jump scare horror or monster horror or any of that kind of stuff. It's just this is a world where things aren't like ours and they're scary.
Can I read the pitch?
Yeah, go ahead. And if you want, do you want to read the solicitation?
I'll read the pitch just so it gives a little bit of an idea of like how rich the world is, but what they're trying to get into for the world. It says, meet Reuben Baksh, a demonic Raksha with a down-to-earth dream of becoming the next Anthony Bourdain. To make his dream come true, Reuben enlists Mo, a down-on-his-luck filmmaker, to document the world-renowned cuisine of India and the people behind the glorious, flavorful food. But little does Mo know that there's more to Reuben than meets the eye, and the mortals play a darker role in the show than they were prepared for.
Yeah, I'm not kidding when I say I can smell the curry. As you're reading this book and looking at these pictures, you can smell it. You can hear the accent. You can hear the voice. Like, it just is this, again, it's a wholly fleshed out world in issue 1. But if you're not entirely in it, like with all of your being, you're going to miss so much. So it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But I wish I had let Miss Jen read it and I had read something like Batman or Superman, because I did not have the bandwidth for this demon. And then here's the other problem. I wanted to eat the food, and you're not supposed to want to eat the food, but I wanted to eat the food.
You're hungry.
I'm in a bad way.
All right, Rumpus Room is Mark Russell being Mark Russell-y. Just give him some
I've been
awards
waiting
now.
for this book. I've been waiting for this book since Comics Pro in February.
Yep.
When Axel told me it was coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read advanced copy of this, and I was just like, this is really hard. And I told Mark that the reason I don't read advanced copy is because then I have a hard time waiting to tell people about stuff. So I've been on this for a while. So if you liked A Nice House on the Lake or Ed Pisker's Red Room, you will also love this book. It is about this man in the center who is like I'm going to just call him a CEO because I think that's what he is, or a business owner of some high powered business. And he, I'm trying to tell you guys this in a way that doesn't wreck the surprise part of this. If you are under his employ and you make him upset, or if you just interview him and make him upset, or if you go against him in any way and make him upset, or if he just wants to, you may find yourself imprisoned in the rumpus room, which you have everything you need on this front cover to figure out what happens there. So this book is about one specific employee that finds themselves there. It's real adult.
I'll never forget at Comics Pro, I'm talking to Axel about what AWA was doing. Axel Alonso, who's the publisher. And, you may know Axel Alonso from his many, many brilliant years at Marvel, but he pulls me, like we're talking, and he pulls me aside and he goes, I got to tell you about this book Mark Russell's doing. And it didn't have a name yet. And it was like, but this is the book. And I went, oh my God, that's going to be huge for you. And I really believe it's going to be. This is going to be, there's a whole other level.
Oh, and you can tell your furry friends that they will like it also.
Yeah. All right, Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins. I'm in the camp of I love Stranger Things.
Why is that dude T-posing?
Well, you can't really see it, but there's kind of straw things that really doesn't have anything to do with the book, though. It's just a cool cover. I have to tell people, I have to tell people though, this has nothing to do with the core group. That's why it's called Tales from Hawkins.
Okay.
This is more a story about the people around the town. The ones that have no clue what's going on, they know nothing about the Upside Down or anything like that. They just think weird things are happening. This particular story is a bit strange when I think about it because it shows events in the town being a good thing for some of the residents. It's an interesting take on a misunderstanding between these two families that were friends at a point. And pranks started happening, and the pranks started getting to where they weren't really pranks, but just mean things happening. But it also shows, because I do not want to give this away, but it shows it's much better to work together to get out of a bad situation. And I understand that's a little cryptic, but it was a good story, and I don't want to spoil it. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, again, has nothing to do with the core group, everything to do with the town, but the story's solid, and I definitely can't wait to read more from this series. I know it says 4 out of 4. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to do more of these, because as much as I love the core group, I got the show to watch the core group. Stories about the town itself will probably be a little more interesting to me. So
these guys just are they're trying to get brains. Everybody, if I only had a brain. By the way, I did have to look up what the Scarecrow needed. I couldn't remember which one he needed. Anyway.
More stuffing. This is Uncanny Spider-Man. It's a part of the continuing Fall of X storyline. This is Cy Spurrier getting to do cool stuff with Kurt, who is Nightcrawler. He somehow is now running around with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and getting to do Spider-Man-y things. It's kind of cool because he gets to do like he can, he does that teleportation trick. The other thing that's kind of cool about him that is important to the storyline, though, is that because Orcus has basically said if any mutants are found on Earth, that they'll kill 10 human beings. They actually have like these sensors to sense mutants, and I don't know if they're like robot guys or whatever that go around the city. They actually have an encounter with him and don't sense him as being a mutant, although they later on have the discussion. They know he's a mutant, so why doesn't it sense him? And then they also had a separate discussion about, since he wasn't here or aware of what was going on and may not actually know the rule about the killing people, whether they should still follow through with it or not. So there's all those kinds of crazy things going on in this storyline. I love that everything is tying into that. So they have like the through line is still in play. That makes me very happy. But yeah, the Kurt is really good. Spider something. And at some point a girl flirts with him and asks him what he does with his, what fun things he can do with his tail, which I was just like, come on, y'all.
Wow.
Does he can he do the thing where he jumps from spaces with spider webs, so he can shoot a web into a place where he isn't because he has teleportation?
I don't see him use any webs. He must have
That would be
Spider-Man
so OP. It would be incredible.
But it's
Like,
a Spider-Man that bamfs.
He does bamf. There is bamfing.
That is awesome.
Spoiler alert.
That is awesome.
All right. Sirens of the City is maybe the most punk rock book coming out ever. At least right now. So here's the deal. You have sirens, you have werewolves, you have warlock type people, you have magic users and creatures of the dark living essentially in Manhattan in the 1980s. Right? Except that it's not really the 1980s. It's like if Manhattan from the 80s with like the spiked hair, leather, punk rock scene was happening now, which it exists, but not kind of in the same way. And all of these people kind of keep to their corners until a Romeo and Juliet thing happens. Right? A siren falls in love with somebody she shouldn't have fallen in love with. And except she doesn't really fall in love, she just doinks him. And it turns into like this level of like, that song, Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have Fallen in Love With? He falls in love with her and she doesn't feel the same way, and her mother's going to destroy his entire clan and his entire species because of it. Like, it's Romeo and Juliet on steroids with magic. And in this book, it really all is starting to come to fruition. I don't know if this is the last book, because it could be. It tells a good enough story that it could it wraps the story up in such a way that it really could be the last issue. I don't think it's the last issue, though. So I imagine that it's even going to come to further levels of destruction, chaos, and what's the word I'm looking for? Insanity in the last issue. So super fun. I would say this is issue 3 or 4. 3. Go back. Yes, the Buzzcocks mystery. Go back and read it from the beginning or wait for the trade, because if you try to jump in now, you're not going to get it. And this is another one of those that you kind of have to read carefully or read contiguously, right? So I still have the first 2 issues on my Dropbox, so I go back and read 1, 2, and then read 3 today. So it's one of those that if you miss any of the context, none of it makes any sense. Super fun, though. I will say the moral of that book is don't stick your stuff in places you shouldn't stick your stuff.
No doinking.
That's a good life lesson in
doinking.
general.
Doinker, no doinking.
Oh, jeez.
Oh God! Now I'm gonna have to go. Here's the problem. Now I'm gonna have to go watch those Dora the Explorer as an adult commercials or cartoons. Yo soy Dora. Have you ever drank so much the night before that you wake up hungover? Me too.
Me too. How do we get home? Backpack. Sorry. Oh Lord, where are we going? Okay, this is Wonder Woman #1. I've been posting back and forth with Tom King about this a lot the last couple of days because he started posting pictures of issue 3, which has like full-on posters of humans like spray painting over Wonder Woman images saying "Go home, traitor," and all Amazons are evil. We're going to kill all Amazons and that kind of stuff. So this, I was like, I trust Tom to tell a story because I don't know how in the world we can get there with someone as beloved as Wonder Woman character who saved us all so many times. Oh my gosh. So this actually it's so funny because it feels like it's really trying to say something like the story is about this, but it's also about other stuff that happens in our world all the time. But it does it so skillfully. It doesn't feel preachy in any way. But it kind of feels like the anti-mutant stuff. Because what happens is that there is a Amazon who has a confrontation in a bar with some real douchey dudes. Okay? Now, this person goes way overboard and, ends up killing a bunch of folks. But instead of trying to find that one Amazon and trying to figure out what the deal is, or allowing other Amazons to go find this Amazon and bring them to justice because, they did something they shouldn't have done, they instead let it go way out of control because of social media and news cycles and everything else, and decide that, Amazons must want to, and because it was all men that were killed in the bar, Amazons must want to kill all men. Oh, not only that, but they want to kill all men and women, everybody that's not Amazons. They want to take over everything. So that's what's the start of what's going on here. This is some real serious stuff that's going on because how do you control the narrative of people that are going off of they feed off that cycle, right? It ramps up, and it feels like our society now. Like, how far will we take something based off hearsay is not based on anything but what someone said on someone's Twitter feed? I heard this person did that, and then we're like, hang them. That's where we're getting to. Like, no one verifies anything, they just repeat it.
Yeah.
Miss Jen, Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
X.
Yes. Someone's X.
The Witcher Wild Animals. Not too much to say on this one. Really good first issue. If you know The Witcher, there are monsters, and not just of legend, but the humankind as well. This one kind of full circles a bit. It's, I never know how to pronounce the name correctly. Geralt saves these people from monsters. Then they try to kill him. Then he's saved, but then he's in danger again. Then it ends with the people you think he's in danger from wanting him to take care of some monsters. So it just kind of wraps back around to me. This is one of those books that I tell people that even if you don't read the books, you don't play the games, or even if you don't watch The Witcher, it's easily enjoyable and you should definitely give it a shot. Witcher stuff is really cool.
I love that cover so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Candace, you stick around.
You saved this one for last, huh? Okay. So, but way back when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made the mistake of doing the Armageddon game, they learned some lessons from a guy by the name of Shredder about how to use magic. Because, that exists. And it's coming back around and it's biting them in their ample-sized shells. Because at some point in this book, and I'm not going to tell you any more about this because we're running out of time, Bebop and Rocksteady are the two-headed monster of Bebop and Rocksteady. Because magic can go wrong. And you know what we never knew we needed in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe? One body, two heads, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Nightmare fuel.
Just absolutely nightmare fuel. I don't want to say too much about this book. I thought it was fantastic, but my friend Gavin Smith is the head artist on it right now. This is his cover that I'm attempting to buy from him, and he wants to charge me way too much, so I'm trying to talk him down. But anyway, because I really want this cover. But I love what they're doing since issue 140. So far on this run, it has been absolutely phenomenal. They're telling interesting stories about turtles that are a little more mature, who have seen some things, man, and some stuff, and who have come out the other side of the Armageddon game with a new set of knowledge that they didn't have before. And they're still trying to figure out how to use that to their advantage. And it's not always working out. And so Mutant Town is in a little bit of chaos because of it. So I would go back, if you're looking to jump into TMNT, go back to 140 and read on. That's my suggestion.
So Mutant Town is still all mutant, right? They don't have any people, humans anymore?
They have some, but they're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle humans, so they're not all that human to begin with. They're April O'Neil, Casey Jones kind of folks. So,
love it.
Absolutely. So it's important to us here at The Experience and everywhere that you head into your local comic shop. Head over to comicshoplocator.com and type in the area code where you are, and it will tell you where comic shops are nearby to you. I am traveling next week. You know what I did? I went to comicshoplocator.com and typed in the area code of the places where I will be to find out where there are comic shops nearby to them, including Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, which is someplace I'm going to visit while I'm gone. So head over to Comic Shop Locator and find those places. Stay tuned for other great shows coming up this week on The Experience. And head over, if you're into anything you saw and you want to pick it up, Miss Jen will be live on Comic Book Shopping Network, like right now, selling them to you. We'll see everybody next time.